Good afternoon, one and all. Welcome to this session on this copyright and plagiarism shield for e-contents. Definitely, what is the opposite of precaution? That is carelessness, harm, hurt, injury, negligence, thoughtlessness, neglect, disregard, ignorance, and insight. These are the reasons why we are facing a problem in terms of copyright and plagiarism in terms of e-contents. So this FDP, the FDP which is brought by St. Vincent College of Commerce, Pune 37, in association with the UGC HRDC Department of Pune University, which is self-financed, 2-week online faculty development program for the allied professionals on creation, preservation, and dissemination of e-content. Definitely give an insight to each and every professionals regarding the e-contents, about the creation, about the preservation, about the management, and about how we can avoid in terms of copyright and plagiarism. So before going ahead, I want to put a disclaimer for your time information. The disclaimer is that I am not a lawyer, so cannot offer any legal advice. The following information which is presented in this session are educated about the copyright law and plagiarism in education domain. So we are talking about the e-contents. We are talking about the e-content. So why e-content? So we'll just go through a funny part of the e-contents. As you know, there are many e-learning courses are there. So that person, that poor person is searching a e-learning courses. There are a lot of e-content courses is going on. So that poor fellow is searching a e-content courses which can match his requirement. Another funny part, as you know, couple of weeks back, this image is circulating on the WhatsApp image status. The cause of that is webinar. Definitely, if something is very high, then definitely there will be a reverse effect. So why such things are happening? What is the reason? Why it is so easy for everyone to conduct webinars, for everyone to conduct FDP? Why? Due to ICT. Yes, my dear friends, ICT play an important and impacted in everyone domain, not only in the education research, but each and every stakeholder of the education domain had impacted with ICT. So what is the ICT impact, which is really important? Definitely, it improves learning process, it reduces barriers. Yes, it reduces barriers. Then it will help you to enhance competencies. Then definitely it will motivate the students for self-learning. Yes, then it will bridge down the digital divide between developed and underdeveloped. Yes, my dear friend. And more important, that according to your time, according to your convenience, you can learn many things in many innovative ways. So why I am talking all these things related to ICT, related to webinar, related to e-contents, because there are a lot of stakeholders who is responsible, who is available in e-contents. Who are they? First, university and administrator, then publisher. They may be a commercial or they may be a non-profit commercial, not for profit. There are authors, there are publics, there are students, there are librarians. Those are indirectly involved with this e-content. So what is the main concern in academia? The main concern is that how to access, how to make availability, what type of quality we have to be prefer, what privacy should be there, and simplicity and clarity of the legal regime. All we have to consider whenever we are giving access of e-content to our user, to our stakeholder. So this is the impact of IT. Yes, my dear friend, this is the impact of IT, where everything become easy, reproduction, distribution, and compensation. Web specific issue like file sharing, cloud computing. Due to impact of technology, knowledge creation, distribution, and consumption become very easy, and not only easy for the creator, it is easy for the user, it is easy for the other party to to absorb it, get the new knowledge. So why it is important? Why IP is important? Because it will protect, it will create, and it will use for publication purpose. In short, if you want to success the business in terms of commercially, then IP is very much important. So in simple terms, what is the protection, license, creations, rights, authorship, legal, copyright, discovery, novelty, idea, innovation. So this is the way, in simple terms, IP can be mentioned. Yes, my dear friend, on 26th of April, every year we celebrate IP, World Intellectual IP Day, which is recognized by the WIPO. So in simple terms, if I want to talk with you, whenever we are going to office early in the morning, we lock our bicycle to the parking where we are parking our bicycle. Why? Somebody may be theft that. So in that sense, if your intellectual is not locked, if your intellectual expression is not locked, then there is a theft option. There may be a theft possibility. So you have to be very careful. Why I am giving so much importance to your intellectual creations? Because see, there are three persons who had created and who had made the patent for that. First person. The another person, he says, oh, it looks like me also, which I had created. The third person is putting his invention in the dustbin. It means if you are not registering your intellectual, then there will be no value. Why giving so much significance, importance to the IP? See the another slide. Yes, the board of directors meeting is going on there, and the executive board is explaining the profits. But in the middle of that chart, there is a gap. There is a gap, and he has just mentioned that. Unfortunately, this took with him where he left. It means if you have an intellectual property, if you have the intellectual capability, the firm, the education institute will value you. Otherwise, it will be very difficult to create value in this competitive world. If I'm talking in the funny part of the IP, then I'm just sharing my experience when I was in schools. The best memory of my school days, notes copy करते समय, ये क्या लिखा है बे? जो समझ में आ रहा है, वो लिख, बाकी ऐसे ही डिजाइन बना दे. So this was my understanding at the time of my school days when I was copying. So I will explain IP in a very basic daily life. See, जिंदगी के साथ भी, जिंदगी के बाद भी. What does it mean? LIC. हक से मांगो, प्रिया गोल्ड. दाग अच्छे है, सर्फ एक्सेल. इसको लगा डाला, तो लाइफ जिंजालाला. See, these are the very basic things which gives you idea about the product, which gives you idea about the brand. So that's why IP is very important. So IP is not a it's really, it is started from the daily life. How? Intellectual property. Intellectual property is a category of property that includes intangible creations of the human intellect, which that assets can be bought, can be sold, can be mortgaged, can be exchanged, and can be licensed like physical property. Why IP is important? I will just explain two examples. One ex-engineer who had resigned from earlier firm, but he is having a regular lunch with her former boss, and he was thinking that I am collecting all the information from her, but he was wrong. She is collecting all the information, and within a 14 months time, that the boss had lost in about 14 beats. It means he had not only gathering the information, he is gathering all the intellectual stuffs. The another reason why I am saying IP is important. Very basic things are there. All the immigrating scientists from the American defense got the call from their countries to come and speak at the seminar as a paid consultant. Why? Because these countries think that this is the cheapest way to gather the intelligence. So this is the way they are collecting, they are getting their intelligence from the other scientists, and they think this is the cheapest way. So IP and students, yes, my dear, it is very much important. Student, because they are the creating minds. So it should start from the students. It should know, we have to create the awareness among the students because they are the innovators, so they can protect their inventions, but also provides better collaborations and funding opportunity for the society and the economy. So to regulate all this, there are some conventions. What are they? The first thing, WIPO, World Intellectual Property Body, who is administrative all this convention. So in terms of copyright, what are the conventions? There are two important conventions happen. What are they? In Paris, the first convention was happened in Paris. It is termed as a Paris Convention for the Protection of IP in 1883. Yes, and in 1886, the second convention that is termed as a Berne Convention, is for the protection of literary and artistic works that is related to copyright. So this is the way a WIPO is converting, protecting the literary work with this convention. So why to protect and promote the IP? There are multi reasons, but I want to highlight only three reasons. What are they? Progress and well-being of humanity. Yes, my dear friend. Second one, legal protection of new creation. Legal protection of new creation. Third one, economic growth creates new job and industry. So this is the way you have to promote and protect IP. Then what is the assets? Assets can be divided into two parts: tangible assets and intangible assets. Intangible assets, which are physically, which can be cash, equipment, machinery, physical plant, property, inventory. Then what is intangible assets? My dear friends, these are intangible plants, maybe goodwill, patents, trademarks, copyright, brands, goodwill, etc. So this is called as the intangible assets. So intellectual property basically divided into two parts. Intellectual property basically divided into two parts. What are they? Intellectual properties, and the second one is copyright and other relating rights. So categories of IPR in India: patent, trademark, copyright, plant breeders' rights, utility model designs, then geographical indication, trade secret. This way, IP is categorized in India. So, what are the next? So, the important thing is copyright. This symbols resembles you the copyright. The lady is requesting you, don't copy. So, in a funny part, a couple of months back, there was a one school who had implemented this policy that students should get a box like, and they have to come for the exam, so they don't copy from the others. So this is the efforts are making by the education domain, don't copy. So this is the way people are trying to make the efforts not to copy. So before going ahead, I want to tell you the story. An artist decided to make a short film. He had a very good story, made the film. The film is based on the Indian swag. So he added a song called Swag Se Karenge Sabka Swagat. So while uploading this film, he received a copyright notice. Mr. Y cannot upload as he added song which is already copyrighted. So that's why there is an importance of copyright. So impact of ICT in copyright for every stakeholder. So in terms of copyright, there is a very complex situation in identifying the ownership, in establishing the copyright, and enforcing the copyrights. So these are the things where copyright plays an important role. So copyright is an intellectual property and exclusive right for creator of literary, musical, and other artistic works, including films, sound, recording, computer, software, etc. So this all covers for the copyright. So which works comes under the copyright? Definitely, copyright provides the legal framework for the protection of traditional beneficiary of copyright, individual authors, composers, or artists. So it provides legal framework for whom? For individual authors, composer, or artistic. Moreover, also for the investment required for the creation of works by major and cultural other industries. Work which comes under the copyright. What are they? They are literary work, computer program, artistic work, cinematography film, dramatic work, musical work, and sound recording work. So we will just check about specific each work, how they are covered in copyright, who are the owner, and what are the terms for what purpose they have covered. So for literary work, such commentary, dictionary, any books or school textbooks, newspaper, question papers, computer program, judgment or order of a court is exempted, but definitely head notes in the court order is protected. So these all are called literary work. Yes, definitely the owner will be the writer, and the term of copyright is the lifetime of author plus 60 years. Then we will just go to the next category, that is called dramatic work. Yes, drama, play, and piece of narration, entertainment in dumb show, choreography, etc. The film is recording of dramatic work, and it is not dramatic work itself, so it is excludes. Who are the owner for the dramatic work? Creator of the work. And copyright term, lifetime of author plus 60 years. Then the next category is musical work. What are they? consisting of music and includes any graphical notation of such work. The song is not a musical work. Owner, author, creator of the music, they are the owner. Then term of copyright, lifetime plus 60 years. Lifetime of the author plus 60 years. Then what is the next category? That is artistic work. A painting, a sculpture, or drawing, including a diagram, map, chart, or plan, an image, or a photographer. Work of architecture means any building or structure having artistic characters or design of any model of such building or structure. Work of artistic craftsmanship means what? Hand knitted wooden sweaters, handicrafts, the range of poetry, etc. Author, artist of the work. In case of photograph, it is the photographer. Term of copyright, lifetime of the author plus 60 years. In case of photograph, 60 years from the year subsequent to the year of publication of the photograph. So what's available in the next, that is sound recording. Recording of sounds or any medium from which sounds may produce. Author, producer of the work. Term of copyright, 60 years from the year subsequent to the year of publication of the sound recording. Then the next category is film. Yes, film. Animation film, video film. Who is the author? Producer of the work. What is the term of copyright? 60 years from the year subsequent to the year of publication. Then broadcasting, communication to the public by wireless diffusion, by wires, one or more form of signs, sounds, or visual image. Who is the author? Broadcasting organization. What is the term? 25 years from the year of broadcast. I am considering all this category in the copyright because due to ICT, this all works are creating into digital e-content. So that's why copyright is very much important. Then last one is performers of actors, performance right, if I'm not wrong. The judges, the acrobat, person delivering the lectures, snake charmers, and dancer. Who are the author? Performer of the work. Some 50 years from the year of performance. So these all are covered under the copyright. Then I will like to highlight on the who is the owner of the copyright. Generally, the owner is the author of the work. This is the writer, composer, artist, producer, performer. Then what type of rights they had? Basically, they had two types of rights. The owner of the copyright had two types of rights: moral rights, economics rights. So what is moral rights? To claim the authorship, to restrain or claim damages. This is called moral rights: attribution, integration, integrity, and reputation. Then what is economic rights? Very simple. It means what? To reproduce the work, issue the copy, to make any adaptations, or to translate the work. So these are all called economic rights. So when it is got infringed, copyrights, it will get infringed when an unauthorized use of the work without permission of the owner of the work. It includes sale, hire, offer to sell or hire, distributes copies for commercial purpose, exhibits in public, import into Indian any infringement copy. So how to avoid infringement? That is important concept for every one of us. How to avoid? You can use fair use or you can use public domain. So what is fair use and what is public domain? Fair use versus public domain. Work used under fair use are still covered by the copyright. Works that are on public domain are not covered by the copyright. Part of the work may only be used for education, research, news, reporting, criticism. This is the fair use. Allows all entire work to be changed, adapted to other media, reproduced with no legal consequence. Permission needed in the fair use to be obtained to sell or redistribute the entire work. Permission is not needed in the public work. Credit must be given. Credit must be given to the original creator in the public domain. So this is the way we can avoid copyright infringement. So in short, public domain means for work which pass into public domain, whether their copyright expires or forfeited or no longer apply. It is freely available for public use. It is no longer available for private ownership. So that is called public domain. So how copyright got administration? How this act got administration? Yes, my dear friend, Indian Copyright Act with 1957, they bought. And what are the importance? What are the another amendment which is important? Yes, it has been amended 5 times since then. When? In 1983, 1984, 1992, 1994, 1999 and 2012. Copyright amendment is the most substantial. In 1983, they amended due to broadcasting technology and reprographic technology. In 1984, they again amended. Why? Due to technology like printing. And in 1994, due to cost of medical textbooks very high, so they had amended. And in 1999, due to the trade aspects, they had amended. So I will highlight some of the important part of the Indian Copyright Act, which is very much useful for the education domain, specifically for the teachers, librarians, students. What are they? Section 52 of the Act, which properly known as Fair Use Clause. For what? Literary, dramatic, musical, or artistic works. Now it covers all works except software. It in effect covers sound recording and video as well. So copies of songs and films for research to use film clips in classroom, they are acceptable. So fair use in general context, right? So Copyright Amendment Act, the Copyright Amendment Bill was passed on 8 June 2012. Copyright Amendment Act is significant in terms of challenge posed by the internet. So what are the welcome challenges? Commercial renter, yes, it is welcome challenges. The commercial renters apply to computer programs, sound recording, and film. Yes, they can go for rental, lease, or reading of lawfully acquired copy for computer program, sound recording, film. Film is made by a non-profit library or non-profit educational institute. So this is the welcome changes from the 2012 amendment. When does fair use apply in the copyright? When we are using for the research purpose, criticism purpose, review purpose, and report of current events. Storing of any work in any electronic medium for the purpose mentioned in this clause are called fair use. Friends, we are talking about the e-contents. E-content means digital work. So in 2012, there is a an electronic transmission or communication subsection 1 clause B. Yes, it is allowed. You can share the electronic access or integration in the clause 1 subclause C. Right. Then, in terms of judicial proceedings, yes, reproduction of any work for the purpose of judicial proceeding and report of judicial proceeding is covered under fair use. For technical education activities, subsection 1 clause J, it is allowed the performance in the course of activities of an educational institute under fair use clause, it is allowed. Then for technical drawings, before technical drawings, if for digital library, if public library is storing any electronic copy of work, if it is already has a physical copy of the work, storage shall be allowed for preservation purpose under fair use clause of 2012 Amendment Act. Then fair use for the technical drawings, yes, it is allowed. Engineering of mechanical devices, subsection 1 clause W, making of 3-dimensional object from a 2-dimensional, it is allowed under fair use clause 2012 amendment. Friends, 2012 amendment is very much important, not only for the normal user, the person with disability, they also got something very relevant to them. Yes, they had introduced new clause ZB has been added to section 52(1). It provides what? Provides adoption, reproduction, any accessible format to facilitate person with disability. It is mainly for education purpose for research. These rights are available to any person or organization working for the benefit of the person with disability. So fair use factors, before taking anything in the fair use, you have to consider this 4 factors of the fair use test. What are the purpose of work? Whether it is for commercial or non-profit, whether it is for educational or non-educational, then the nature of the work, factual or creative, amount you had copied, with 10%, 20%, 30%, so depending on that. The last factor which mentioned for the fair use, that is called effect on the market for the original. So that is called fair use factor, 4-factor test. There is one new section added in 2012 amendment. What are they? Section 31B has been introduced to provide compulsory license in the works for the benefit of disabled person. If any organization, institute working for the benefit of disabled person, they have to take compulsory license. So which will make easy for them to convert that work for the physical disabled. Again, we are talking about the e-content, digital content. So definitely DRM, yes, they had inserted a new section 65B, which is known as a remove or alter any rights management information without authority. Electronic right management information has been removed or altered without authority shall be punishable, and with imprisonment 2 years and fine also. So this is really important in terms of digital content. So what are the worrisome changes? This all which we had seen all are the welcome. Then is there any worrisome changes? Yes, my dear friend, all the coins have two sides. One is head and one is tail. What are the worrisome changes? We will just check what are they. They are the term of copyright for photograph nearly doubled. It is 60 years from the publication to 60 years from the date of photograph. Then what are the missed opportunity? Fair dealing guideline. They had not provided fair dealing guideline. Then the copyright term. Definitely it is above as compared to the international obligations. What are the missed opportunity in 2012 Amendment Act? Education exception. They had not provided a detailed education exception, right? They had failed to communicate it to the public. There is no distinction draw between commercial and non-commercial publication communication. They had not given a clear guideline in terms of communication to the public. Then internet intermediary. More protection is required to grant it to internet intermediaries. So they had missed all this, in 2012 Amendment Act. What other? Yes, they had misusers and smaller creators. They had left out of discussion. Who are they? The libraries, including not a single librarian, they had called for the standing committee meeting. Even stakeholders like consumer, historians, teachers, students, filmmakers, RTXware, independent publishers are people like you and I are not seen in the legitimate, the interested party in the copyright domain. But my dear friends, I would like to again give some more points to the 2012 amendment. Why? I'm really proud on India. I'm talking about Copyright Amendment Act and Marquess VIP Treaty. Marquess VIP Treaty, I will just give you the background of the Marquess VIP Treaty. More than 75 countries have signed. It was adopted in 27 June 2012. Our amendment was in 2012 and the WIPO Treaty was adopted on 2013 in the conference called Morocco, Marquess. And I'm proud to say that India is the first country who had ratified the Marquess Treaty and it approved on June 30, 2014. Indian Copyright Amendment Act 2012 is in coordination with the Marquess Treaty. That's why I am saying you, I'm very proud. World is taken this all this digital content, physical disability in 2013. But in 2012, Indian government had already announced amendment and which cover majority of this all this provision in 2012 amendment. What is the current position of Marquess VIP Treaty? Yes, there currently 67 contracting parties are there and it is available for in terms of Marquess VIP Treaty. Suppose if I am an adopted country, then I can use my treaty and I can convert other countries' contents for my physical disabled users to convert without any copyright restriction, without any plagiarism restriction. I can convert that. Jokes apart, stealing from one person is a plagiarism. Stealing from many persons is a research. That is research. So before going to the plagiarism, I will just tell you a short story. Authors, yes, A attempt to steal the cat of B, and they are very good friends, but still A had steal the B, but A caught, B caught, and what the lesson B got here? The lesson is that whenever you are taking somebody cat, somebody works, somebody assets, you have to take the permission first. So this is my first story. The second story, don't tell the lies to the ownership, to the others. When B got that card and went out, somebody asked him, whose cat? So B is just telling the lies. It is mine card, my cat. But actually it is from the A. So you have to tell the true ownership. And the third one, definitely what he had done, borrow other people or pictures or story as long as you get the first permission, and then you have to give the credit to that person. So in that sense, what is plagiarism? The word plagiarism comes from the Latin plagiaris, means kidnapper. If I put in the simple terms, plagiarism is a copying information and not giving authors credit for it. In short, act of presenting another work or idea as your own. So definition, according to Merriam Dictionary, act of using another person's words or ideas without giving to the credit to that person. This is called Merriam-Webster dictionary. Another, Pearls and Sheet, 2013, page number 1. Plagiarism is a specific form of cheating and is generally defined as a presenting someone else's work as your own. So why it is important? Because it is a theft, it is a cheating, and you may get 0 if you caught. So that's why it is really important. What consider plagiarism? Presenting another's works using your own, using words and ideas without giving credits, not using quotation marks, making up incorrect information about cited source, copying such large amount of ideas or words that the majority is not yours. So this is called plagiarism. So plagiarism may be intentional or unintentional. Intentional means purposefully they are doing. Unintentional, they are not doing. That may be the reason they are doing. Plagiarism may be deliberate or accidental. Accidentally हो सकता है plagiarism, but someone may also do deliberately. So that's why plagiarism is very important. What excuses people are giving? What excuses students are giving to their teachers, education, to their faculties, to their parents? My teacher expect too much. That's why plagiarism. I have to get into a certain college. That's why plagiarism. Then I was too busy. Write that paper. Job, gave too much homework. That's why plagiarize. My parents expect A plus as usual. It's okay if I don't get caught. So this type of excuses generally students are giving. Everybody does it, so I do it. So these are the reasons every students are giving because of that plagiarism. So there are different types of plagiarism. What are they? Clone, submitting another's work. Then Control C, which is famous. Control C means copy from a single source. Find and replace synonyms, using the synonyms. Then remix plagiarism, paraphrases from multiple sources. Then recycle, use your own work without citation. Then hybrid, perfectly cited sources. Perfectly, sources are there perfectly, but without using them. Is there any other? Yes, my dear friends. 404 error, it is very much famous in the computer. Non-existent, inaccurate information. Then aggregator, proper citation of source, but the paper contains almost no original work. Then retweet, include proper citation, but relies too closely on the text. And the first one which I missed, that is mashup, mix copy material from the multiple sources. So this is the way. There are different types of plagiarism. People do it. So how do people? Why people plagiarize? Due to ignorance, due to lack of knowledge, due to pressure from the seniors, publish or perish system in the education domain to get the work faster, and chances of getting caught or action being taken is very slim. That's why people plagiarize. So this type of I can say academic theft is becoming very much popular, and it is increasing day by day. So that's why UGC had come up with the regulation on in its meeting 538 meeting on 28 March 2018, considered as approved by the UGC Promotion of Academic Integrity and Prevention of Plagiarism in Higher Education Institute Regulation 2018. This regulation has been notified in the official gazette on July 31, 2018. The said regulation is available on this link. So what are the objectives? Creating awareness about the prevention misconduct of including plagiarism, establish a institutional mechanism for promotion of academic integrity and prevention of plagiarism, setting up a system for catching plagiarism, punishing the act of plagiarism. So according to the regulation, plagiarism defined as means the practice of taking someone else's work or ideas and passing them as own. So what is the scope of this guideline or regulation? It is restricted to HEI, Higher Education Institute, university, which are institutions that are incorporated by the central, province or state act, or any institution that has been deemed. Any institute that has been declared by the parliament to the national importance, or any constituent unit within such institution that provide education after 12 years of schooling and which provide degree or diploma after completion of said education. So according to this regulation, what are the script? Yes, it's applied only to the script, and definition of that script provided in the section 2 in subsection 0. Subsection O. What are they? Research paper, thesis, study, project report, assignment, dissertation, any other such work submitted for assessment, opinion leading to award to degree or publication. Definitely exam scripts are exempted from this. So what are the duties of HEI, Higher Education Institute? To establish a mechanism to spread awareness, to hold sensitization seminars for students, faculty and other members, to create academic ethics in coursework for undergraduate, postgraduate and master degrees. They must also include research and publication ethics for coursework of PhD and MPhil scholars. To provide training for using plagiarism detection tool, institution must establish facility for the detection of plagiarism. So what are the methods to curb this type of plagiarism? To implement a mechanism in order to detect plagiarism. Access plagiarism detection tool. Institution should come up with the plagiarism policy, right? Supervisor should provide a certificate to their students. Soft copy of the dissertation or thesis should be submitted to the Shubhanga repository. Institution should create online repository for own dissertation, thesis, paper, publication, all other in-house publication. So what is exempted? In this policy, in this guideline, they had exempted quoted work, all references, table of content, preface, acknowledgement, singular content which is minor, standard equations and symbols, laws and general terms. So what is zero tolerance policy? Yes, in certain area, in your thesis, in your writing paper, there is zero tolerance area. What are they? Hypothesis, recommendation, abstract, summary, conclusion, results and observations. They are zero tolerance area where you can't copy single word also. Then what type of plagiarism zero tolerance available in other part? Up to 10%, if it is other part, excluded. But between 10 to 40%, it can be termed as a level 1 offense. Between 40 to 60%, it can be termed as a level 2. And between 60 above 16%, 60%, then it will be termed as a level 3. What are the UGC detection? Yes, for UGC regulations, according to the DAIP, yes, Departmental Academic Integrity Panels, they have to report. They have to instigate this matter to the IAIP, that is Institutional Academic Integrity Panel of the HEI. Then HEI also take notice of an act, plagiarism and initiate proceeding. Similar proceeding also initiated by the HEI on the basis of finding of an examiner. All such cases will be examined, investigated by IAIP, that is Institutional Academic Integrity Panel. So according to the UGC regulation, what are the penalties? There are two different penalties. For the faculties is different and for the students. For the students, for the PhD students, up to 10% no penalty. For faculty, up to 10% no penalty. For student, from 10% to 14%, you have to revise the script. Yes, in 6 months. For faculty, you have to withdraw the script. For students, from 40 to 60%, can't submit revised script up to 1 year. For faculty, no supervision for 2 years. In case of over 60% for students, cancellation of registration. In case of faculty, no supervision for 3 years. So these are the punishment under this regulation. So even HEI, the head of the HEI is not exempted. If he is caught, then the action will also taken under this regulation. So how to avoid? You have to quote and cite sentence and phrases. Then you have to quote and cite statistics, charts, graph. When you paraphrase or summarize, give due credit to the original authors. For me, I am using 3 strategies. What are they? Quoting, paraphrasing, and summarizing. Quoting means you have to put in double quote. Paraphrasing, if I am using quoting someone else's works, I will cite the person to whom I am using his work. So definitely, my dear friend, copyright and plagiarism is two different things. Copyright, legal term, plagiarism is not a legal term. Copyright, civil crime, plagiarism is an academic crime. Copyright, unauthorized use of someone else's work, creative work. Claiming or appearing to claim ownership of someone else's creative work. In copyright, monetary damages or infringement. In plagiarism, not punishable by the government, but maybe academic sanction. So, UGC recently, April 2020, they had come up with a self-plagiarism. They had come up a notice on a self-plagiarism. If you are using your own work without due credit or full citation, then it is called as a self-plagiarism. So it is covered under republishing, publishing, smaller extracted work, using data already used, breaking up, paraphrasing. If you are using your own work for these purposes, you have to quote, you have to give citation to your own work. Otherwise, it can be termed as a self-plagiarism. So there are chances somewhere plagiarism happen, somewhere copyright can't be infringed. Somewhere copyright infringed, somewhere plagiarism cannot be infringed. So you have to be very careful. If it is in the copyright, you have to give the source. If it is in the plagiarism, you have to cite. If both are not there, you can use, but you have to be very careful in that. Right. So general question, do you have to cite everything? No. Definitely yes, but except when you use your own words, except when the fact used in common. So what makes common language? If you can find the same information in at least 3 different sources, you don't have to cite. So before going ahead, I would like to highlight some of the important landmark judgments as we are discussing about the copyright and plagiarism in terms of e-content. So going to before the landmark judgments, I will just share a joke. The Bollywood and the Hollywood. Bollywood is trying to copy from the Hollywood. भाई दिखाना language change कर लूंगा. So this way the people are doing copyright and plagiarism. So what are the landmark judgments? Yes, the very important case which happened in Delhi University. Delhi University plus Rameshwari photocopy versus 3 international publishers. Yes, they had filed a copyright case on this photocopy service. But after a couple of months later, they had withdrawn due to benefit of students because they said it's okay because their students are using, but actually it was a copyright infringement case, and for the benefit of the students, they had settled that settlement out of the court. Then Amazon India caught up in copyright case. Yes, Campaign Dukan. They are using Amazon Apni Dukan, but actually the Pune-based businessman Ravi Jain, who had registered this Apni Dukan as a domain name back in 2007, wants Amazon to shop using this campaign. So these are some of the couple of important landmark judgments. Another important movement, the very famous author Shelley Indian changed copyright law in March 1949. Government of India, yes, Southern state, Tamil Nadu, acquired the whole work of Indian greatest poet, influenced by the Romantic poets, and used pen name Shelley Darshan, and they had introduced his work in the public domain. So this is the first time in world that poet works which come to the government, they had put up in the public domain. Then what about the famous writers who had died? Yes, Gandhiji's works, it is held with the trust till 2009. Now it is in the public domain. Then Nehru Gandhi's works, it holds by the Sonia Gandhi till 2024. Then Rabindranath Tagore's works, yes, it was in the copyright till 1992. After that, it came into public domain. Friends, it was a very important, very famous case, copyright and monkey selfie. Yes, David Seltzer. The case was in very much highlight in the newspaper, but after a couple of rounds of court's hearing, the Slater adjusted that court out of court that he had mentioned that he will donate 25% of his profit to the charity of the PETA, who is taking care of the animal welfare. So this is the way people are using Copyright Act, plagiarism regulation to protect their intellectual. So before going ahead, a joke apart, that beggar is trying to beg from that gentleman with the song Hey Malik Tere Bande. That person is none other than the composer of that song. He just asked the beggar, first day my share of royalty, then I will give you the begging money. So this is the way your intellectual can be protected. Copyright is not stopped here. In India, it is taken very much serious. So in 2016, Indian government had come up with the National Intellectual Property Policy, which is adopted on 12th May 2006. But they had come up to strengthen IP infrastructure, to attract investment, to faster IP process, to make environment business friendly, to reviewing the rules and procedure, and to go for the IPOs. Even in academic institutes, Indian governments are creating IPR cells. Till now, 41 universities across different states have this IPR cells. Why these IPR cells is created? To organize group meeting, lectures, in different departments and affiliated college regarding the IPR awareness, to take IPR audit for research program, to guide inventors in promoting their academic and entrepreneurial activities through IPR protection, to facilitate IP management, to assess the proposal for patent and scrutinize them patent search with the help of PIC and CST. So, what is the steps? What are the important steps we have to say for IP? You should know what you have. Where is your IP? Prioritize what is your IP. Label your valuable IP. Secure both physical and digitally. Know your tools to protect. Take a big picture view. Apply a counter-intelligent mindset. Think globally. So to conclude on this, I would like to say you 3 steps to protect your institute, faculty, staff, and user. You have to create a campus-wide fair use policy. So you will not be in trouble. If there is any problem, so you can show them that we had already campus-wide policy. Then you have to read and negotiate license for the digital content. Whenever you are acquiring any digital content, e-content, then you should be very much careful about the terms and conditions. How or to what level you are going to use, to what level your user going to use. Then another important steps, you have to educate your campus. Why IP is important? What are the benefits of IP? What are the importance of copyright? What are the importance of patent? So my approach towards my institute, I will focus on availability, what is available with me. And I will teach them IPR in their classroom. So they will be very well versed with the legislation. So they will be very much alert in terms of copying or in terms of doing any wrong thing in terms of with the contents. So if there is any question, you can post it on my chat box or on my WhatsApp number. I'm available there for your queries. So before going ahead, there is a joke. Every day my boss is taking whether my intellectual is taking away. So he check whenever come out of my office, he check whether what I am taking from my bed. So this is the value of IP. You have to be created your own IP, then your office give value to your IP. So my thanks to Director Javardhan Jadhav, SG Director, Anil Arsu Principal, my dear friend Professor Yogesh Mate, and Dr. Sunil Sethi for this golden opportunity. Thank you so much.